Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi, I'm Ratna Hidayati and you are watching Bahasa Surba online English video lesson for grade 9 of SMP or MTS. This time we are going to discuss narrative text. We will focus on how to answer comprehension questions. Well, before we start, let's say the dua together. A'udzu billahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Raditu billahi rabba wa bil islami dina wa bi Muhammadin nabiyyan wa rasula. Rabbi zidni ilma warzuqni fahma waj'alni min ibadika salihin. May Allah let our heart be filled with light and insight and understanding and knowledge. Amin. The Islamic base of our lesson today is Surah Yusuf, verse 111. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. لقد كان في قصصهم عبرة لأولي الألباب ما كان حديثا يفترى ولكن تصديق الذي بين يديه وتفصيل كل شيء وهدى ورحمة لقوم يؤمنون. Indeed, in their stories, there is a lesson for men of understanding. In the Quran, it is not a forged statement but a confirmation of Allah's existing book, the Torah, the Injil, and other scriptures of Allah, and a detailed explanation of everything, and a guide and a mercy for the people who believe. The aim of the lesson is, by the end of the lesson, you will be able to identify information to answer what, when, where, why, and how in a narrative text. To check the reader's understanding, a text is usually followed by some questions. The questions usually have question word such as what, when, where, why, and how. Let's start the lesson by taking a fable entitled The Lion and the Mouse. We will start making helpful notes. Okay, now together, let's learn to jot down some important points from the text. Let me read the text first. The Lion and the Mouse. Once, as the lion sleeping in his den, a naughty little mouse ran up his tail and onto his back and up his mane and danced and jumped on his head, so that the lion woke up. Okay, here we find the word a lion and a naughty little mouse. So we can write here, the characters. We have two characters, a lion and a naughty little mouse. Okay, then what happens? Let's start to look at the events. This first event happened in the lion's den. Okay, the first is lion. Okay, the lion lay sleeping. Okay, so we can write down lion sleeping. And then, what did the mouse do? Okay, the mouse ran. Okay, ran up from the tail until the head. So we can say the mouse ran on the lion. Okay, and then the lion woke up. The lion grabbed the mouse and holding him in his large claws, roared in anger. How dare you wake me up? Don't you know that I am king of the beasts? Anyone who disturbs my rest deserves to die. I shall kill you and eat you. Okay, let's continue. The next event is, the lion woke up, roared in anger, and grabbed the mouse, right? Okay, so we can write down lion woke up, and then got angry, and then grabbed the mouse. The terrified mouse, shaking and trembling, begged the lion to let him go. Please, don't eat me, Your Majesty. I did not mean to wake you up. It was a mistake. I was only playing. Please let me go. And I promise I will be your friend forever. Who knows, but one day I could save your life. Okay, what we can jot down here is that this event still happens in the lion's den. And what happened? Right, the mouse was afraid. He was terrified. He was shaking and trembling. And begged the lion to let him go. And he made a promise. So we can write down here, mouse, afraid, begged, promise. Okay, let's continue. The lion looked at the tiny mouse and laughed. You saved my life? What an absurd idea, he said scornfully. But you have made me laugh and put me into a good mood again. So I shall let you go. And the lion opened his claws and let the mouse go free. Well, let's look at the event in this paragraph. The lion laughed. And he got his good mood again. And he let the mouse go free. So we can write down here, lion, laughed, got good mood, let mouse go. Oh, thank you, Your Majesty, squeaked the mouse and scurried away as fast as he could. Thank you. So here the mouse thanked. And then here scurried away as fast as he could. So he went away. A few days later, the lion was caught in a hunter's snare. Struggle as he might, he couldn't break free and became even more entangled in the net of ropes. He let out a roar of anger that shook the forest. Every animal heard it, including the tiny mouse. From here, let's look at the detail. A few days later, caught in a hunter's snare. So the lion here was in a hunter's snare. Then he struggled, but he couldn't. He was entangled in the net of the ropes. And then he roared in anger. Okay, so that his roar was heard by all the animals, including the mouse, the tiny mouse. Okay, so from here we can make a note. Okay, the events here, it happened in the forest. Okay, we can see here, okay, in the forest. Okay, and here the time is few days later. Few days later here is few days after the lion caught the mouse and let him free. Okay, here the lion trapped in hunter's snare, and then he roared in anger. Okay, and then mouse here heard the roar. My friend the lion is in trouble, cried the mouse. He ran as fast as he could in the direction of the lion's roar, and soon found the lion trapped in the hunter's snare. Hold still, your majesty, squeaked the mouse. I'll have you out of there in a jiffy. And without further delay, the mouse began nibbling through the ropes with his sharp little teeth. Very soon, the lion was free. I did not believe that you could be of use to me, little mouse, but today you saved my life, said the lion humbly. It was my turn to help you, sir, answered the mouse. Okay, from here, we can still conclude that the events happened in the forest. Okay, what happened? The little mouse ran, okay, in the direction of the lion's roar and began nibbling through the ropes with his sharp little teeth. So we can write down here. Okay, and the lion was free, right? Okay, so we can write down here, mouse ran to lion, set lion free. Okay, and from the story, we can infer or we can make inferences, okay, that the lion, okay, as we all know that a lion usually is big and strong. And the lion in this story is also humble. Okay, and the mouse here, okay, compared to a lion, a mouse is tiny, right? Okay, and usually we have an image that a mouse is weak, okay, compared to the lion, of course, but he's grateful. Okay, so the character of the mouse in this story is a grateful mouse. Okay, so the moral lesson that we can take from this story is that even the weak and small may be of help to those much mightier than themselves. Okay, it's time to try to answer some questions. Okay, here are some comprehension questions. What do you think? After making the notes, it's now become easier, I hope. Okay? Right, the first question. Let's try to understand each question now. What problem did the tiny mouse have? Right, what is asked here is the problem faced by the tiny mouse. Do you still remember? Yes, it was caught by a lion. Okay, the next question. Okay, still asking about the problem, but here, what problem did the lion have? So, this one is the problem faced by the lion. Okay, what do you think? Great, okay. it was trapped in a hunter's snare. Good. Now let's look at the characters here. Okay, who is the main character of the story? How many characters do you think is the main characters? Yes, there are two main characters. Okay, because from the beginning until the end of the story, okay, these characters, okay, play important roles, okay, to the story. Right, so the characters are the lion and the mouse. Okay, now the next question. When was the lion captured by some hunters? When do you think? Yes, you still remember, right? We made notes about this. Okay. Yes, few days after the lion let the mouse go free. Okay, so what was the moral value of the text now, do you think? Okay, so it was about a lion and a mouse. Okay, the lion is big, strong, and the mouse is weak and tiny. Right? Do you still remember? Yes, so the lesson that we can catch from the story is that the weak and small may help a bigger and stronger one. That's why we need to help each other in our life. Let's continue with some more comprehension question. Okay, look at the two questions here. Okay, these two questions. Okay, look at this. These two comprehension questions have similar pattern. Okay, what did do? What did do? Right, the first question here, what did the tiny mouse do to prove his words? And then, what did tiny mouse do to help the lion? Okay, actually these two, okay, similar with how. So we can say, how did the tiny mouse prove his words? And the second here, how did the tiny mouse help the lion? Okay, those questions actually have the same meaning. Okay, right, now let's try to answer the first question. What did the tiny mouse do to prove his words? Right, by helping the lion. Helping the lion save his life from the hunters, of course. Yes, now the next question. Why did the tiny mouse do to help the lion? Right, by setting the lion free from the hunter's snare. Okay, now let's have the next questions. Look at these three questions. These three questions, okay, we can look at the detail, okay, where sometimes it's not stated clearly, okay, where did the story happen, but we can infer from the story, okay. And then the next question, the word entangle means blah blah blah. Okay, so this is more about vocabulary. Okay, this is asking about vocabulary. Okay, and then the last question here is, what is the purpose of the text? Okay, do you still remember the goal of a text, especially a narrative text? Right, now let's try to find the answer one by one. Okay, the answer for the first, for the question, where did the story happen, here is in a forest. Yes, maybe you ask, but the first happened, right? The first happened in the lion's den, right? Right, in the initial of the story, right? Okay, that happened in a forest den. But logically, a lion's den is also in a forest, right? Okay, Right, so it's part of the forest. So we can just say in a forest, or you may also say in the lion's den and in a forest. Okay, yes, now let's continue. The word entangle. Do you still remember? Yeah, the lion tried to set himself free. Okay, tried to set himself free, but he couldn't, and he even became entangled in the hunter's snare. So we can say that. Okay, entangled here has similar meaning to trapped. Okay, being trapped. Right. So this kind of question, okay, really needs the mastery of vocabulary. So you need to read more English passages, okay, to enrich your vocabulary. Okay, now the last question. What is the purpose of the text? Do you still remember purposes of text? Right, different types of text has different purpose or goal, right? Okay, and for a narrative text, right, the purpose is usually to entertain, right? Okay, so here we can also say the purpose is to entertain or to amuse the readers by telling the story, of course. Right, here are all comprehension questions that usually follow the narrative text. Okay, a narrative text. So you may have questions about the purpose, and then the word or the vocabulary. Okay, and also the setting. Okay, the setting here can be the place or the time. Okay, and also the questions that is about. Okay, questions that is about the detail information from the story. Well, let's sum up what we have learned today. Okay, the first is texts are usually followed by comprehension questions to check understanding. To get a better understanding and clearer details, we need to learn to make a side notes. Right, these notes, of course, will help you to answer the comprehension questions because you have a better understanding about what the text is about. Okay, and the last, to answer comprehension questions better, okay, you need to understand each question first and then find the information from the text that is suitable with the question. Okay, that is the summary for this video lesson. Well, this is the end of this video lesson. Let's say hamdalah together. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Thank you so much for your attention. I'll see you again on my next video lesson. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye now.